Team, welcome back to the channel. Thank you. It is an honor to be able to make another video for you guys. So if you're not subscribed, please consider doing so. I do post a lot of videos about OLED as well as some other technical things like arcade sticks reviews and things of that sort. But right now, today, what I like to do is I like to take a moment and talk to you guys about the great sales that some of these companies and websites are having with the C1 OLED. Specifically, we're going to talk about the C1 because it is a great opportunity, and we'll talk about briefly the different application and ways that you might use this TV. It looks like the G1 also is actually taking advantage of some price cuts too, because obviously we got the new models out. C2 is out right now, and the G2 is soon to follow. In a mass store, big box perspective, you'll be able to walk in and get one, order one pretty soon, I'm sure. So just starting off, what really sparked my interest, and I'll card in the fact that I bought two 48-inch C1 OLEDs, is that TV right now, as of me recording this, is on sale for $1,000. This is absolutely amazing. It's $1,000 for a $1,400 TV. Really good, man. So when I purchased my 48-inch C1s, they were $1,200. They were $1,199. And so I'm actually going to be headed to the store to get a price adjustment because $1,000, 200 bucks back sounds really good. That actually turns out to make my C2 purchase even cheaper, which is really good. But some of the biggest advantages about the 48-inch C1, let me just tell you, and the way that I've used it in the videos that I carded earlier, I have it mounted up on a desk. It is absolutely phenomenal, phenomenal. Also, if you are in a smaller bedroom, no offense, nothing wrong with having a smaller bedroom, but if you have a smaller bedroom and you have a small sitting area, that TV is going to be phenomenal. Keeping in mind that typically for every 10 inches, you're a foot away from the TV. To get maximum clarity, the TV is around a 50-inch range, but it's such an amazing TV. I love it so much. The only reason that I got rid of the 48-inch on my specific desk was because of the C2, 55-inch, which is what I'm in front of now. It's what's giving me all of this brightness. Does have an Evo panel, but for $1,000, man, guys, do not miss that opportunity. Next up, the 77-inch, which is what I paid for. I have the 77-inch C1 as my main driver. That TV's retail was about $3,500. So what it looks like has happened is the actual retail price of the TVs have come down. So the universal price on the 77-inch C1 is $3,000, which is $500 less than what it was last year when I purchased the TV. It's on sale right now for $2,800, so that's not too bad. If you do happen to go to like a local big box store and you see like an open box option, it's worth looking at, man, especially if you can ask the questions of how long they think it was owned, if you can have them plug it up. You check my video, I carded in 12,000 hours with an OLED. You can turn the TV on and you can see realistically how many hours it's been operated, right? So you can gauge from there. So what I'm saying is, if you got a TV retailing for $3,000, its new price on sale is $2,800. If you can find an open box, maybe get $400 or $500 off. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, you know, consider all of those things if you guys are looking for a great value. I have the 77-inch C1. I would recommend it to anybody. It is the best TV that I've ever purchased with the full package in mind, okay? The C2 is the best looking gaming TV I've ever purchased, but the C1, because of the way that I'm using it and the size that I got it, I actually covered that in yesterday's video, so check that out. I'll explain it a little bit more. The 65-inch is $1,700. For me, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not impressed by that price. I would really love to see the 65-inch drop down to like $1,300. $1,300 for the 65-inch would be like, if they were trying to aggressively price that, it would be really, really good. Like $1,300 would be freaking phenomenal for that TV. I think $1,700 is still kind of peaked. But you know, if you're kind of, you know, itching for that and you don't want to spend what the extra that you'd spend for the C2, then that's a good price for the C1 also. It's still going to give you the same thing in terms of picture quality and so forth. You're not going to miss anything that you would get based on if you looked at any of my reviews and my opinions on the 77 that I have. It's a great deal. The 55 inch for 1100 is a good deal too, man. That is phenomenal. It's only $100 more. So to be honest with you, if you're looking at the 48 inch, which like I said, the 48 is what got me looking at this, the 55 inch of the C1 is $1,100. That is probably the best bang for the buck if you're a gamer. Also, if you're looking for that bedroom TV, that is the TV you want to get. This is the best value right now. The 55 inch C1 for $1,100 is bar none going to be the best absolute value. We're talking from gaming perspective to watching movies on this thing, streaming content, doing whatever it is that you might be wanting to do. That is the best out of the lot. And let's see what they've got. The 83 inch, $4,500 for the 83 inch, which its retail cost was $5,300. It's pretty pricey, but it is what they cost. It's what they retail them at least, because I believe the C2 is marked at like $5,500 for the 83 inch. So $5,300 is the regular cost. $4,500 is what it is. You know, if that TV was like $4,000, $39.99, I think that would be a sweet number, but it's a good price. The 83 inch is big. So you might look at the 77 and the 83 and you'll think, okay, yeah, it's just, you know, a few inches, but really it's about 15 to 20% more volume in TV. So the 83 inch is like, it's a different type of beast. If you get that thing in front of you, if you watch a 77 inch, as long as I have, and you get in front of an 83, you will definitely notice the difference. You will not want to go back to a 70 anything after looking at an 83 inch. It's not just the corners, because TVs are measured in class by diagonal, but you're looking at the overall percentage of volume that you're getting from each corner is what you're really looking at. So it's a little bit deeper than just looking and saying like, well, you know, I could just get a 77. 83 is for the big leagues. This really is. And if I hadn't purchased, I said this in yesterday's video, if I hadn't purchased the 77 inch C1 last year, if I was still rocking the 65, then 83 is what I would have got the C2 in. Definitely. That's a humongous TV. So taking a look down at the G1, and these are like these are retailers across the chain, so Amazon and so forth. 65 inch G1 is $2,000. I think that's a pretty good price, man. I think it's a really good price. It makes me like, I can understand why the C1 is priced where it is, because the G1 is a little bit higher than that. But the G1 obviously is going to give you that Evo panel. It's going to give you a beautiful picture. I've been in front of a G1, so I elected to get a C1 because I didn't want to wait for the G1, but that is a beautiful TV and it's at a pretty good price. If you got the cash, and if you were already thinking about like, I'll do the 65 inch C1, stack up another week, another 2 week, assuming the sales will still be present and you be able to afford to get yourself a better TV, because it is a better TV. It doesn't lose anything from the performance of gaming and such. The 77 inch G1, probably going to be the overall best bang for the buck with the big TV. And I'm saying that because it's $3,300, which is exactly about what the 77 inch C1 was last year when I got the TV. It was about $3,500. So that's really good. I mean, again, the 77 inch is like that step up. It's a lot more picture volume on the screen from a 65 inch. So 77 inch was my first last year. Every TV that I had purchased prior to that was 65 inch. It was 65 inch, 55 inch. And so jumping to that is going to be amazing. I know how much I adore my 77 inch C1. So I would definitely recommend the G1. Like seriously, I mean, if I was able to swap the two right now, I would. But my only reservation for the gallery, is that you're forced to mount it. So unless you have a TV stand in place, like what I use for my C9, I have it mounted on essentially a TV stand, then you're stuck doing it. And then I like to move my stuff around my house too much. So you got to consider these things. If you like to move your things around a lot, then the G1 is not going to be for you if you're not in a position to want to mount it up. But yeah, that's pretty much your list of pricing for these TVs. I don't know why, but I'm seeing a CX orderable. Like, It's clearanced out, but you can buy a 77-inch CX. It's clearanced out for $2309. And I had a CX, but I can't understand why that's still an option. It's not available for pickup, nor is it available for delivery in my particular area. But I don't know if I'm able to go to Miami or something to get that. But I'm interested in seeing, like, maybe they lost a couple and, you know, they found them. And so they're like, let's go ahead and produce this. But I can't think in my right mind why anybody would. Well, a CX has a lot of gaming capabilities and it's a great TV. So for $2,300, it's not a bad option, actually, to be honest with you. It's not really bad, but it is clearanced out. And so if it's within your area, then it is something worth considering. Unfortunately, I was not doing TV videos at the time when I owned the CX. I had already gotten rid of it when the C1 became a thing. And I started posting content on here. But lastly, I'll talk about the 83-inch of the C1. Again, $4,500. You know, for me personally, seeing that at $4,000 would be a better option. Let me just take a quick look at what the C2s are priced at. Pulling it up right now. So 55-inch is $17.99, right? That's the TV that I have. I'm in front of this TV. It's expensive, man. It is. I mean, you're gonna pay to play, definitely. I think the TV is gonna settle around $15.99. I've been looking at it on the websites, like it'll go back and forth, like was $17.99 is now $15.99. So I'm not sure how they're playing that game, but I think $15.99 is gonna be the price, which in my opinion is worth $1,600 at a retail, because later, you know, it drops down. Like if you know retail, then you know how the game played. $2,500 for the 65-inch. Now, let me just explain something to you guys. In 2015, the EF 9500 was $7,000. I have that TV still. That TV was $7,000. So when I hear people talking about the expense of TVs, like, I get it. In just 7 years, 6 years, things have changed so much. Like, OLEDs are so inexpensive for them to produce, and they obviously do so much more. But in 2015, you would pay $6,000 to $7,000 for a 65-inch TV. I did that, unfortunately, but yeah, $2,500 for a 65-inch C2, to me personally is not a bad thing. 83-inch of the C2 is $5,500. So again, when you're looking at the retail of the C1 being $5,200, obviously it's on sale. You know, when I look at these comments and I see people like, oh, well, save the money, save the money. I mean, it's like, dude, you know, yeah, you can save the money, but if you really want to just go out, cash out, ball out, boss up, then go ahead and go for what you know. Do what you want to do. And lastly, they've got the 77-inch on there for $3,500. Again, I paid $3,500 for my C1, pricing really well. So even if at $3,500, they might drop the price. It might be was $3,500 is now $3,299. Who knows? But I think the C2 is priced pretty well. Still listed coming soon for a lot of places. I'm not sure what's going on with that, but the C1 prices, man, check them out, definitely. I posted some reviews and my thoughts and some different content on the channel about the C1. But if you happen to have any questions, please utilize this video to leave comments, and I'll be sure to respond to them. I do get them on my cell phone, and so I respond immediately to them. I appreciate the support. Leave a like, share, subscribe, do all of that jazz. And as I always say, max love.